Hey beautiful people, what is up and welcome back to my channel. I am Jamila. I love all things beauty. I love all things makeup and skincare, and I especially love sharing my tips and tricks for how to find high-end and luxury beauty products at bargain prices. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I would absolutely love if you would consider subscribing and joining the fam. Okay, happy Sunday, y'all. I know, today is the day of rest. Today's the Lord's Day. And I told myself I wasn't gonna film today, but I got a box of goodies from Sydney Grace. You all know the Sydney Grace Christmas in July sale is coming up very, very soon. I think it's like 3 days. So, or 2 days, oh my Lord, or tomorrow. No, 2 days. 2 days. It's coming up very, very soon. So I wanted to come on here and give you guys some kind of content so it might be helpful. In case it might be helpful if you're thinking about picking anything up during the sale. So Sydney Grace did send along a couple of products for me to try. They actually sent along the new products that they're going to be releasing for the sale. So for this video, what I want to do is show you guys the products. I'll pop up some B-roll of some swatches just because I don't have time to do live swatches on everything today. And then I'm going to do just one look. So my eyes are already prepped and primed. I'm just going to do one look with the palette that has excited me the most because I think that's what you guys want to see. So without further ado, let's dive into the products that they sent me and some B-roll of what they look like swatched on my skin tone. For context, I am a medium deep skin tone with a yellow golden undertone. I do swatch on this side of my hand, which is much lighter than the rest of my body. And right now I'm definitely more deep than I am medium. So I'm leaning a little bit darker because it is the summertime here in the US. So that's enough dilly-dallying and jibber-jabbering from me. Let's go ahead and start the video. So they did send over a nice little pamphlet with all of the Christmas in July details. So let me just quickly tell you about what is going to be going on. So the sale will run from July 24th to August 1st. And there will be new product releases and daily specials. So they are going to be releasing 4 new products. The first is the Love's Journey palette. This is a neutral palette that they've been teasing and showing online. Then they have the Heaven on Earth palette, which is a beautiful kind of blue-green palette that I absolutely fell in love with, and that's what I'm going to be putting on my eyes today. There's the Raspberry Kiss palette, which is definitely a pinky, mauvey palette. And then there's Mad About You brow palettes. So they're actually releasing some powder brow products. Per usual, there will be mystery bags. Again, they're mysteries, so I have no idea what's going to be in it. And typically the mystery bags have a mix of products. So you'll get some lip products, some eyeshadow, some highlighter, some blushes. You'll get a mix of everything, and you typically get a really, really cute makeup bag that is of course reusable. There are usually multiple different mystery bags, you know, like different colors and whatnot. So if you buy multiple bags, I think you're gonna get different products and different bags each time. But don't quote me on that. Definitely don't quote me on that. But it's a mystery, so you know, it's a 50-50 chance you might like what you get. So in terms of the daily sales, like I said, this is going to start on the 24th. And if you make a purchase of $60 or more, you're going to get the Love's Journey palette for free. That's that neutral palette. On the 25th, all palettes, cream shadows, blushes, highlighters, lip cream, lip toppers, brow palettes, cream blushes, cream highlighters, cream bronzers, and the brushes are 40% off. Basically, the entire website is 40% off. On the 26th, if you spend $60 or more, you're going to get 1 free mystery bag. On the 27th, if you spend $60 or more, you're going to get the Heaven on Earth palette for free. And I believe the Heaven on Earth, if I'm remembering correctly, the Heaven on Earth and Love's Journey palette retail for $52 a piece. So if you wanted to buy it on its own, that's what it's going to cost you. So in terms of the value there, I think it's pretty solid. It's almost kind of like a buy one, get one free thing when you look at spending $60. On the 28th, if you spend $40 or more, you're going to get $20 worth of free products. And if you spend $65 or more, you're going to get $50 worth of free products. If you spend $100, you're going to get $100 worth of free product. So, and this is Sydney Grace's choice. So it looks like they're just going to send you the product. You don't really get a choice in what free gifts you're going to get. On the 29th, if you spend $35 or more, you're going to get the Raspberry Kiss palette for free. And on the 30th, for every $50 you spend, you're going to get 25% in store credit. That's not bad. And on the 31st, all of the single shadows are going to be 40% off. So it looks like single shadows have a 40% off day that's different from the palettes and everything else on the website. So that's really, really important. So let's talk about the products. So first up, we have the Raspberry Kiss palette. I believe this is going to come in light and deep, but the back usually specifies if it's the light or deep version, and mine does not do that. So maybe it is just one version of this palette. So you can probably tell by the size, it is a 9-pan palette. It is very, very pinky, obviously, for the raspberries. And I will say that I think the packaging looks stunning, and I don't know if this is like a step up from Sydney Grease in terms of packaging, but I'm quite impressed with the packaging for these new palettes. So here we have the Raspberry Kiss palette. This is a very monochromatic palette, so if you are not into monochromatic palettes, you may not like this, but if this is your color scheme, I think that you will absolutely love this. So you do have four mattes, 2 satins, and 3 shimmers. So 4 mattes, these 2 are satins, and these 3 are standard shimmers. In terms of product details, this has an 18-month shelf life, and it was made in the USA, and you're getting 16.2 grams of product. Next up, we have the Love's a Journey palette. The sleeve completely matches the packaging of the palette itself, so you do not have to keep the sleeve. On the back of the palette, it has all of the ingredients, including that this is the deep version. Again, I'm a medium deep complexion, so I always go for the deep version in the Sydney Grace palettes. And this is this beautiful neutral palette. I think that there are kind of like 3 distinct rows in this. There is the sort of warm neutral row. This one is a little bit more green leaning, and then this one is cool or silver toned neutrals. So you get a ton of matte shades, standard row of shimmers down the middle, and I believe this is a row of satins. So you have a row of satins, row of mattes, row of shimmers, and 2 more rows of mattes. In terms of the product details, you're getting 27 grams of products. And this has an 18-month shelf life and was made in the USA. And last but certainly not least, my favorite of these 3, this is the Heaven on Earth palette. First, can we just appreciate the little baby turtle? Oh my god, it's adorable. Again, the sleeve and the packaging are perfectly matched. You do not need to keep the sleeve if you just want to make space. It also does specify that this is the deep palette in the back with this sticker. Again, ingredients are here as well as additional product details. So here we have the Heaven on Earth palette. I am filming in natural light, so this is what the palette looks like without anything. There's no studio lights, there's no ring light. This is just the sun from my window in my bedroom. So this is what they have an on Earth palette looks like. You have the top neutral row, a more green row, and then a blue row at the bottom. And this is just absolutely stunning. I think this is so beautiful. Similar to the Life's a Journey palette, this has an 18-month shelf life, and you're getting 27 grams of product. And this was made in the USA. And then the last 2 products that they sent me in that PR package were the brow palettes. Now, I am not sure how many palettes they have created, but they sent me dark brown and jet black. So this is the packaging for the brow palette. In terms of the color, it is listed on the back. So you can't really tell from the front if you what shade you have, but on the back it does list whether it's the dark brown or the jet black. So starting with the dark brown, this is what that looks like. So you get 5 brow products, 5 brow powders, I should say. This has an 18-month shelf life, has 9 grams of product, and was made in the USA. And I really, really like sort of the versatility of this palette because you see the different undertones for like the different hair types. So I appreciate that. I don't know what the price of this will be just yet. If I find out before the sale, I'll be sure to pop it up at the bottom so you guys know what this brow palette will cost. I will say if you're planning to get anything from the sale, the face palettes from last year, not even last year, from this year, face palettes, those things are chef's kiss and they were an amazing value. So at the end of this video, I'll do a little bit of like what I recommend you pick up. And here we have the jet black. As you can tell, this really, really is for folks that have super duper dark hair or want their brows to be really, really dark. I don't know how much I'm going to dip into this, but if you have jet black brows or you like that sort of stock look, this might be of interest. Similar to the last one, or exactly like the last one, you have 18 months in terms of shelf life, and this has 9 grams of product, and it was made in the USA. Full transparency, I did not use this on my brows today because I don't know how to use brow powders. It's serious. And I know that may be a couple of yours, so y'all too. So we gonna learn together. Not today, because I don't want to, you know, mess it up right now. But I have never used a brow powder before, but I am excited to learn. So I'll let you guys know how my learning is going. Okay. But let's go ahead and dive into the eye look. And you already know I have to go into this Heaven on Earth palette because it has those beautiful blues and greens. And oh my God, it's just, it's so pretty. This is stunning. I can't get over how beautiful this is. So this is what we're going to be putting on the eyes. I don't know what's going to end up on my eyes. It's going to be something that's overly complicated because I am Jamila. Jamila is me. So let's go ahead and dive into this look. Okay, so I went ahead and brought you guys in closer because, you know, we gotta get close. And I'm just gonna dive right in like a crazy person into Ocean Daydream. That is the blue shade, and in my opinion, the most exciting shade in this palette. So I'm picking some of that up on my brush. Ooh, let's tap just in case. And I'm gonna put that into the inner part of the eye. I'm trying to be right. I tapped so gently, and I tapped off my brush. And this pigment, this brush is too big. I wanted a smaller brush. Sorry, I'm switching brushes because I thought I picked up the small version, but I'm going into the 309 brush. It's a smaller blending brush. This is the 307, this is the 309. I want the 309. So I'm just concentrating that into the inner parts of the eye here. I'm trying to find my way. And I'm saying I'm trying to make this uncomplicated because I have so much stuff I need to do today, guys. Like, it is Sunday. It is supposed to be a day of rest, but I think we all, as adults, know that Sunday is usually a day of reset. It's the day when we do all of the household chores, the laundry, the meal prep, all of that, or at least a lot of us try to. And I have been trying to do that for some time now and have been failing, but I am trying to get back into having a routine and having some structure in more parts of my life that would allow me to not feel just kind of like overwhelmed and flustered. Like, sometimes you realize that you end up you're doing it to yourself, right? If you just sat down, had a routine, planned things better, you wouldn't feel like you were always going. So that's kind of what I am working on. So this is the only video I'm filming today because I had to, like, and not had to as in this is required, it's just that I wanted to. Like, I really, really wanted to do this. So I am just putting this on my eyes so you guys can see what it looks like because I know I've been curious as to what this would look like on me. Okay, so next up I cleaned off that 309 brush and I eventually want to get to this green, but I think I'm going to start by using this shade. It's called Unstoppable, and I'm going to use it as the transition shade for the second half of the eye. So right here, blending that into the blue. And I'm literally like singing the Sia song in my mind. Yeah, I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. It definitely is pretty rich in depth, but there are some lighter shades in here, so I can go back in and share that out a bit, but I like this. And again, if you're looking at this and you're thinking, okay, that's a little too deep for me, as a reminder, I have the deep version of this palette. It does come in a light version, so if you want lighter matte shades because of, you know, that's what you prefer, or because it would better suit your complexion, there is a lighter version available. part of what I need to do today is wash my brushes. I have so much brushes that I need to wash. Don't let it get this bad, you guys. Next, I'm gonna go into this green shade. It's called Heaven on Earth. Oh, it's the actual green for the palette. I'm gonna pick that up, tap that off gently, and I'm gonna put that right underneath, blending that into that brown. And I'm using this mini blending brush from my, it's called the mini crease brush. This is from the Kiyaki set from Sonia G. It is really beautiful. I need to use my Sonia G brushes more. I baby them because they're Sonia G and I don't want them to be damaged. But when you spend $300 on a brush set, you better use that till the wheels fall off. So, don't save the good things for another day, y'all. Trust me. Do not do that. Don't save it for a special occasion. Don't save it for whatever special thing you think is gonna happen. You are a special occasion. Remember that. And every day that you are alive is a special occasion. So use the nice things now. Okay, this is blending like a dream. Next, I'm gonna go into the deep green in the palette. It's called Into the Jungle. I don't know why, but whole time using this palette, my mind is just like making musical references. Because now I'm going, in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps. Like, oh, I don't know why. This palette has me like in a very singy mood. I might go into that Voyager shade underneath to see how deep we can get it. The thing is, that one is a blue, whereas this is a green, so 2 different shades, but why not? I'm trying to find my way. I'm trying to find my way. So I just gently wiped off that brush onto my Sonia G towel, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and go into Voyager. It's that super dark blue shade, but I want to see how rich we can get this. Ooh, that is beautiful. And it's not getting like weird or muddy or not building really well on top of each other, which, I mean, I expect nothing less from Sydney Gray shadows. I've never had an issue with how they blend or how they build. So this is what this side is looking like. This is it with just the green. Okay, now it's time for the shimmers. Oh, so many beautiful choices to choose from. So I'm actually putting on these shadows without having swatched them first. So I don't know what to put on my face. This green has been calling to me. And this is Jellyfish. Ooh, that's pretty. I also definitely want to play with this blue. Ooh, okay. And I want to try one of the goldy shades, but I can't decide which one. So there's Relentless and Exceptional. So I want to play with some combination of these 4 shades. Well, 3 out of the 4. Definitely the blue, because I think it is the most exciting shade in the palette. This is the green shimmer. So pretty. And then we have the 2 golds. This one is Relentless, and the other one. And since we're here, I'm just gonna go ahead and swatch the other 2 shimmers. This is Tide Rising, and this one is the deep blue shade called Asteroid Belt. So we have Asteroid Belt here, Tide Rising. So you swatch Tide Rising next to the other green, and Asteroid Belt. Okay, now I have completely changed my mind on what I want to do. Okay, my mind has completely changed. So we're actually going to start with Asteroid Belt. So that is that deep, deep, rich blue black shade. And I'm going to plop that into the outer corner. We're just giving smoke today. Give me that. And I'm just going in directly with my finger because, you know what, I realize I like finger shimmer application. Then I'm going in with Blue Lagoon, the blue shade. And I am plopping that into the center, kind of blending it into the first blue. And then lastly, because my finger is so big and fat, I am actually going to take a brush. I'm going to take the reference number 28 and I'm going to go into Tide Rising. I thought I was going to use the other green, but let's do Tide Rising. And I'm going to blend that into the inner part and put it and blend it into Blue Lagoon.
I don't want to lie or cross the line, yeah. Baby, know you fine, come through tonight, yeah. Long as I'm alive, I make you mine, yeah. Move your body, shake, I'm hypnotized, yeah. I don't want to lie or cross the line, yeah. Baby, know you fine.
I feel like I just created an ocean on my eyes, and I love it. Okay, so you guys see the vision. You see where I'm going with this. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my eyes, clean things up, make sure everything is nice and blended together. And then I'll come back and show you guys the final look. Hi, I'm back. And no, my face is not completely done because I was finishing it up and then I was like, wait, let me just show you guys the other products that I'm using because, you know, I have other Sydney Grace products and this might actually be helpful for you if you are planning to shop the sale and you want to know what to get. So this is going to be a longer video than I thought. Go figure. But I'm going to go in with the bronzer from the face palette. I have the deep face palette. This does come in 3 shades, so light, medium, and deep. I have the deepest one. I do think that the bronzer is nice, but it doesn't go deep enough for somebody that's deeper than me. So if you have a deeper complexion, you may not love the bronzer in this because I do think that there is the potential to just get a little bit deeper, a little bit richer. So I'm just picking that up on my Sephora Pro 50 brush. I'm just going right into little cheekbone area here. I will say I love this bronzer though, for me. But in terms of you know, I do know that there's so much more people that are richer than me, and this might not be as deep as they need it to be. But she cute. You see that? Definition, y'all. Definition. And if you couldn't tell from this, she's well loved. My makeup never looks like this. I never look like I use my makeup. One, because I'm particularly gentle with it, but I have been using this nonstop because I've been traveling with this, and y'all know that I've been around the world and so in terms of what I pack, because this is such a versatile product and you get the bronzer, the blush, everything, I've been traveling with this because it means that I can eliminate some of the other products. But yeah, you see this? Snatched, glow, bronze. Okay, let me not dilly-dally too long because I just threw on a whole extra part to this video that I wasn't planning to do. Okay, for blush, I'm gonna go into Sun Glow. This is my absolute favorite blush. This one is a little rich on me and can look a little bruised. So what I have been using that one for is I'll mix it into the bronzer if I want it to be a little bit richer, a little bit starker. So if you are deeper than me, that is an option if you want to like deepen up the bronzer a little bit. But that being said, that second blush is red. So it definitely is gonna, you know, be pretty intense. And if you are not someone who likes a red blush, you may not like that. But this blush, awesome. I put a little too much on here, and it's because I'm trying to show you guys it, but I went a little bit overboard. But this is typically how I wear this blush. This side. It's just perfection. Oh my gosh. This has been my favorite blush because I don't know what it is about this shade, this tone, this color, but I found that it works with every single look. Warm tone looks, cool tone looks, everything about this looks great. So if I have to recommend one thing outside of Tracy, it would be this palette. And I believe this palette retails for $28. So in terms of value, the price of this is absolutely amazing because you get 2 blushes, a bronzer, and a highlight for $28. I think that's more than fair. And as you can see, you can easily buff the blush out to get it softer. So it was a little crazy before. No. Soft, wearable. And of course, if it's still a little too much for you, you can just take whatever brush you had your powder with and just soften it up a little bit more. Yeah, I went a little bit crazy on this blush, you guys, sorry. I typically don't apply that much, but this has been my holy grail and honestly the most beautiful blush shade for me in terms of any look. It doesn't matter what I wear on my eyes, it doesn't matter what I have on my lips. That shade will go with everything, at least for me. At least that's how I feel. Again, just personal opinion here. And then I'm gonna go into the highlight shade. And this highlight is pretty potent, so just, you know, be gentle. And she is rich, she is giving glow. Absolutely love, love, love this. This is definitely a nice, more natural highlight. If you like something that's a little bit more blinding, or if you are slightly lighter than me, this might be a little bit too deep for you. But I feel like this one gives me the most natural highlights versus a lighter shade, which might be just a little bit stock on my complexion. But it blends in really nice and gives a nice glow. Without, you see? Look at that. Oh, that looks so good. There's something in my eye. Okay, I'm gonna bring you guys back in so that we can finish up the under eyes because I want to add a little something extra, do a little too much per use. That's my MO. So I'm gonna go back into the dark shade. This is called Voyage. That's gonna go into the outer part of the eye. Picking up a little bit of that, and I am putting that into the outer part of the eye right here. And I'm trying to use as much shades as possible so that you guys truly get a sense of how they look on me. Now I just wiped off my brush and I'm actually going to go into the green shade that I originally wanted to use and did not use because I still really, really want to use that. So I am picking up a little bit of that. I'm going to put that into the inner part of that waterline. So there you have that. And I'm gonna do something extra on top of it because I am who I am. So I'm taking my Refa number 23 and I'm gonna go into the shade Exceptional, which is the gold shade. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that. And I'm actually just gonna do a little line on top here. And I'm talking about the Leo version of it, yeah. Romeo, I wish I could have met you. Okay, I just switched brushes a little bit, but okay. I think that added a little something something. It's a little hard to see, but I thought it was gonna be a little bit brighter. But I still think it added a little something something. Okay. So this is what we're working with. I'm gonna zoom you guys out a tiny bit because for the last touch before I put on some mascara, I'm putting on Tracy. I feel like I talk about Tracy all the time. This is not Tracy. Where is Tracy? hold on. I'm gonna put on Tracy because I talk about it all the time, and I want you guys to see what it looks like on my lips. I want you guys to see how it's applied and why. If you need to pick up one thing, if you have to get one thing, let it be Tracy. And I actually reached out to the Sydney Grace team, and they confirmed that Tracy will be available during sale. So please add to cart, but just save some for me because I need a couple, please and thank you. Okay, so this is Tracy. This is one of Sydney Grace's lip creams. I have been obsessed with this and have been wearing it non-stop, and I typically do not wear this with liner. I just pop this on my lips. It's like my perfect lip shade that I can just pop on and go. The lip cream is like a mix between a gloss and a lipstick in terms of it has the opacity of a lipstick, but it has the feel of more of a gloss than an actual lipstick. I find them to be extremely comfortable. I don't like super matte lippies. I don't like a lot of things on my lip. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Fenty Gloss Bomb in terms of the fact that I can wear it all day long without any issue, and I don't even really think about it. And I love that this just gives more opacity than a standard gloss. So again, here we have Tracy. This is the color. Do a little swatch on the back of my hand. She is stunning. She is everything. And honestly, again, I go in without a lip liner and I just put it on my lips. Yeah, I want something classic, but all these boys are tragic. Romeo. Why'd you have to go and set the bar so high? And there you have it. This is my girl Tracy. Y'all, love this. I can't tell you how many times you guys have asked me what I'm wearing on my lips, and it is this. And you can of course use a lip liner if you want to have a little bit more definition, have a little bit more of a gradient. I typically don't, and so far y'all been liking it, so here we are. Okay, let me quickly add some mascara, then I'll come back, give you guys my recommendations if you were planning to pick anything up this sale, let you know what I am planning to pick up, and then we'll quickly end this video. She found the one like Romeo, Romeo. Where art thou, Romeo, Romeo? I want my Romeo, Romeo. Yeah, I want something classic. Okay, so this is the final look. I just threw on some mascara, threw on my Ana Luisa bamboo heart earrings, which I absolutely love. And this is it, guys. This is the final look. So let's talk about all of the products. So just let you know what else I'm wearing on my face, because you guys saw the bronzer, the blush, the highlight. In terms of complexion, I am using the Fenty Eavesdrops because I just wanted something that's a little bit lightweight. I do have to run a couple errands today, so I'm not trying to do too much. And I mean, the eyes are doing everything. So I just wanted to keep it like as light as possible. I don't really love this because it is kind of dewy on me and it doesn't last very long. But like I said, I just have to run out, do some errands, and come back. So that's what it is. For my foundation, concealer is the Merit Stick. I haven't used this in a while, but this is actually a really, really good one, and it reminded me to pull this out again because this is an amazing concealer. And you can use it as a foundation too. I really like the consistency of that. And I have the older version, but they've reformulated this. Not reformulated. They've repackaged this to have more product at the same price. So definitely worth checking out if you are interested in a new concealer or foundation stick. But yeah, that's it. That's his face. I love this palette. I think it's so pretty, but these are the kind of colors that I always find happiness in. Something about blues on black skin just be doing things to me. I know a lot of people don't like it. Apparently it's taboo or you're not supposed to if you have brown eyes or whatever it is. They're lies. They're telling all their lies. But overall, I really, really love this palette. I think it performed well. It's the same Sydney Grace quality. Same shine, same blendability, same impact, everything perfection as we expect from Sydney Grace. The last thing that I ended up doing with this look was I went in with this white shade and I actually used that as my inner corner highlight. And turns out this is like a duochrome because it has like a blue, like it looks white, but it's actually blue. So it actually went really, really well. I wasn't sure. I was like, this is going to be hella stock, but it's a blue duochrome. So It's nice to know that there is that in the palette. So that could actually be a really nice shade to wear on its own. I didn't really think about it like that because I haven't swatched the palette just yet. You watching this video would have seen these swatches, but having not swatched this, I thought it was just like a white shade. But it's a duochrome, which means that you can use it as on its own as a lid topper or as a halo eye to give a nice brightness. It definitely has some versatility there. All right, so, oh, and how y'all feel about Tracy? Love me some Tracy. Okay, so let's talk about my recommendations for the sale. In terms of shopping from Sydney Grace, honestly, I think you can't go wrong with anything you were to pick up there. They truly are a solid brand, and in my opinion, the brand that is the most consistent in my collection. Like, I love me my Mama Pat, I love me my Blend Bunny Cosmetics, I love Adept, I love Natasha Denona, I love all of these other brands, but if I had to attribute one brand to the word consistency, it would be Sydney Grace. I found that their formulas never disappoint me. I don't have to worry if it's gonna work or not work. They've just been pretty same, you know, like straight road kind of brand, but not boring. Because sometimes if you're doing the same thing, it can be boring. I've just found that they've just been consistent and still pretty exciting, and their formula has been top-notch from the jump until now. One thing that I will point out in terms of their eyeshadows, and I know a lot of people have mentioned this, is that it is a heavier and thicker consistency than other shadows, and you do notice it if you have a large makeup collection and you're playing with other things. But it's not uncomfortable by any means. It's just something that you kind of pick up on. But for me, I've never found it to be uncomfortable or unwearable. In terms of the shine and the impact of these shadows, they are beyond. They are just so beautiful, so impactful, but also still wearable enough that I feel comfortable wearing the Sydney Grace shadows to work in more professional corporate settings. I have never had any issues with that. And one thing I have noticed is recently they've actually dived into the kind of indie market a little bit more, and they've been coming up with multi-chromes. I don't have any of their multi-chromes, but that is what I'm trying to pick up this sale. But before we dive into my wish list, here's what I recommend you pick up. First and foremost, I have to recommend Tracy. Like, I've been talking about this nonstop for forever, and quite frankly, Tracy only exists because I have worn this in so many pictures, and so many of you guys kept asking me what was on my lips, and I kept tagging Sydney Grace and saying it's the Sydney Grace Tracy lip cream until they brought it back. So this was really because of you guys, and because of that, I would love for as many of you to experience Tracy as possible, because I truly think it's a beautiful lip shade if you are my complexion and you're looking for something that's just easy peasy lemon squeezy. So if you have to pick up one thing and one thing only, the lip cream. These retail for $10, and they will be 40% off on the second day, I believe. So that means that you would be able to get this for like $6, which I think is a really great price. You get a ton of product in here, and honestly, that is the first thing I would have to recommend. Second, I have to recommend the face palettes, because I do think that this is a solid value. Now, it is a solid value if you think you're going to use all of the products in there. With face palettes, you always run the risk of some things working versus others. For example, with the deep palette, I do think that there are going to be folks that are deeper than me that might have some issue with the bronzer not going deep enough. Like I said, you can mix the deep blush into the bronzer to get a little bit more depth, but it's going to be very red. So you just have to be a little bit careful with that. So if you are deeper than me, you have to weigh the possibility of this bronzer might not work for you. But you have the three other shades. You have two blushes. Personally, I barely use this one. I only really use this one because it's my perfect blush. So for me, this is the one shade in the palette that I don't love. But I do still think for a palette that is $28, the value here is insane. You can already see from the pan sizes that you're getting a ton of product in here. This is 25 grams of product, so you're getting a bunch of product in here. So that's something to take into account. And then when it comes to the highlights, again, you kind of have, it's really weighing how much of the product you're going to use. Because for some people, this might be too deep. For some people, this might be too light. So, or just right, you know, like if you're deeper than me, I think that this is going to be a stunning highlight on you. If you are lighter than me, I think that this might be too deep for you. And that's just the risk with face palettes. They can be really, really tricky, and they're not going to work for everybody, or at least everything in every pan is not going to work for everybody. But check that one out. I say check out the medium option and the light option as well, because you never know. Maybe it will work for you, and again, the price just can't be beat. So that's the second thing I have to recommend. Third has to be the Sydney Grace eyeshadow palettes. It doesn't matter what eyeshadow palette you pick, you will be in love. I do think that if you were interested, the Heaven on Earth palette is beautiful. If this is your color story, you're going to absolutely love this. This is top-notch Sydney Grace quality. You can get it in the light or the deep. And this is one that has a little bit of versatility in terms of you have neutrals as well as color. So you can get the blues, the greens, and the neutrals. If you want to know what I recommend outside of these new palettes, in terms of palettes, of course, the Mel Thompson Tiny Marbles is just a staple. I think that everyone should own this. This is one of the most versatile palettes in terms of it pulls at your creativity and forces you to be a little creative. You get neutrals, you get color, and somehow everything here works together well. It does not, you know, translate to chaos in my mind. I see this and I see so many different looks that I can create with this. It also does include a multi-chrome, which I think is a nice touch. This is a standard multi-chrome that I think we've seen all over the place, but it is really nice to have it here in the Sydney Grace formula. Like, you just can't, I can't say enough about the Mel Thompson palette. This is just perfection, and also probably overall the best packaging Sydney Grace has had. Like, I love this new Heaven on Earth packaging with the little turtle. Is that a turtle? It is a turtle. Tortoise. No, turtle. Sea turtle. Yes, it's a sea turtle with a little turtle. But I do think that this is probably the best packaging Sydney Grace has ever had. And you can't negate enduring love. I do have the older version of this, and you can probably tell the packaging has improved since this one. But this was my, like, me stepping my toe into cool tones. If you are scared of cool tones because you have a warm undertone and that's just kind of where you tend to gravitate towards warmer colors, try the Enduring Love, because I think that these are manageable cool tones, and this will give you a really great opportunity to practice and figure out what you like and what you don't like from it. And you do still have a couple pops of color. Like, it is pretty cool tone once you cover these two shades, but once you open those up, you do get a little bit of color in case you wanted to be a little bit more adventurous there. And lastly, I have to recommend the Tropicolor palette from Tina, the Fancy Face, because this is stunning. I was absolutely obsessed with this. This also does have a couple of special shades, so like one multi-chrome, one duochrome. So if you wanted to get a little frisky, you could pop a little extra zhuzh in here. But this is for the color lover. If you are somebody that loves color, this is for you. And I will say that Tina did take her time to give us some, you know, neutral shades as well. You do have two sort of neutral leaning shimmers, as well as the browns here, which allows you to stay neutral if you don't want to play around with the blues and the greens and the purples here. But this is definitely one of the more versatile palettes, and one of the palettes with the most options. But I love this, and I always try to support Tina because she's a fellow Caribbean sister and, you know, Black woman in this space. So definitely give this one a try if you are looking for color in the Sydney Grace lineup. And I'm going to end my recommendations there because I don't really have any of the like liquid eyeshadows or any of like the single shades like that. I do have a couple, but not enough for me to give you guys any recommendations. If you are looking for recommendations for singles, check out my girl Cara, because she has an amazing video talking about the Sydney Grace sale, as well as showing you what she has in her collection. So I definitely recommend you give her video a look to see if there's anything that might pique your interest. Also, if you are looking for singles, Sydney Grace has done a lot of pictures on their Instagram where they have created entire palettes. Some of them duping other palettes like the ABH Nouveau palette or the Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette. So if you are like me and you don't know how to create palettes and you want a little bit of guidance, I would say check out the Sydney Grace Instagram page, because they've done a really great job at showing how you can curate their singles, and it might give you a little bit more guidance. So you're not just buying singles randomly, but buying, you know, well curated palettes. Okay. So the last thing I want to do for this video, which has become so much longer than I prepared for, is to tell you guys what's on my wish list, which is a little bit longer, so I might actually cut this down at some point, but I do have a couple of things that I want to pick up. So first, I actually do want to get the Blessed palette from Glitzy Fritzy. This was the latest collab that Sydney Grace did. She is an amazing creator on YouTube here who is over the age of 50. So I love seeing Sydney Grace collab with just creators that are not the 20-something-year-olds who have the most perfect skin and whatnot. So it's a beautiful color story. It's really colorful. It retails for $52, but with the 40% off, you know, I'll get a pretty significant chunk off of it. So I am interested in picking that up. In terms of the cream shadows, I do want to try some of the multi-chrome options that Sydney Grace has. So there's Dragonfly, Alexandrite, Phoenix, and Flamethrower. Those cream shadows are going to be $15 a piece. They're originally $15 a piece, and I would get 40% off of that. So I might try to whittle that down to 2, you know, pace myself, because the reality is if I buy too much things, I'm not going to get through all of it, and it's going to sit there for like a year. So I'm trying to like get a small enough amount. So I'm going to have to whittle that down to 2 and see which 2 I really, really want. In addition to those cream multi-chrome shadows, I am interested in some of the single multi-chromes that are that powder format. So there's Swoon, Pampered, Ocean View, and Ripple Effect. Again, those also typically retail for $15, but they are going to be 40% off. So I'm going to have to probably whittle that down to 2 as well to, again, pace myself. So I might try to get varying colors in the cream and the singles just to see and compare the difference in the formula, because I wonder if the cream shadows have a stronger flip versus the single shadows. Who knows? But I'll have to test it out and see. And again, because Sydney Grace hasn't had like a ton of multi-chromes in their collection, I am interested to see how this compares to the other multi-chromes that are on the market from like the Cleonas and the Terra Moons, because it'll be interesting to compare that. In terms of other single shadows, I am thinking about getting the ABH Nouveau bundle. I did sell my ABH Nouveau palette because that was dusty. I said it. I said what I said. I remember everybody raving about that palette, and I'm saying everybody, but I didn't pay enough attention to who was raving. And in hindsight, they were all significantly lighter than me, and they were all like really excited about the palette, especially that lavender shade, which was beautiful. It was absolutely stunning, but that shit was dusty on me. So I sold it because it was just a dusty palette for me. So I'm probably going to get the Nouveau bundle from Sydney Grace, because looking at that bundle, I can see it has more depth, I can see it has more range, and it's definitely better suited for my skin tone. Same with what they did with Retro Glam, which was, you know, the Mel Thompson version come to life. I'm pretty sure that the Sydney Grace formula would perform better for me than the ABH did, because I did one look with that ABH palette and never felt like the urge to reach for it again, because I was pretty disappointed by that lavender shade and how it showed up on me. So yeah, so that bundle has been on my mind, so I might actually pick that up. And then the lip creams. I do want to get a couple of lip creams. I am going to get Tracy. I'm probably going to get 2 Tracy's because I only have the one. It is almost done. It's like holding on for dear life. And I like Tracy so much that I usually keep it with me at all times. So this is actually going to be an easy way for me to just throw one in every purse. Or not every purse, because that's a lot of purses, but to throw one in like the 3 purses that I'm rotating through at the time, so I don't have to constantly wonder where is my Tracy. It'll be in one of my purses. So that's kind of like the plan. Then I'm also thinking about getting Faith, Alyssa, Taylor, Claire, Leslie, and Peyton. Some of them are more orange, some of them are more brown, more neutral. You can tell that this one is kind of in that mauve-y vein. So it is really pretty and it suits my skin tone really well. But I am curious if I got like a standard like brown, which is closer to like a natural shade for me, what that would look. So the plan is to get more of the lip creams, to try them out, test them out. I'll probably do like a swatch video for you guys so you can see what they look like. And because I already know that I love the formula, it's a no-brainer for me to try to get more of that. So that is my wish list. Not super long. I probably, like I said, have to do a little bit more whittling to make sure that I'm getting exactly what I want. I do not want to over purchase. That's my thing. There are a lot of things that I could get in this sale, and there are a lot of things that I would want in this sale. But the reality is if I buy too much now, I'm only going to be able to use some of it before I have to move on to the next thing that I'm trying. So I want to be just mindful in terms of like, I can buy these things in batches, you know? I can get a little bit now, get a little bit during the Black Friday sale, get a little bit during the next sale. I don't have to buy everything now. So I'm trying to stick to 1 and 2 products in like these categories so I don't go crazy. So you guys will see what I do end up picking up on the sale. And now it's your turn, right? Let me know down in the comments below what you plan on picking up. What are you most interested in? What are your thoughts on the palettes, the new releases that they have? All of that fun jazz, leave that in the comments. If you have not already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Join the fam if you liked today's video and you want to see more content from me. Go ahead and hit that like button for the video as well. All engagement helps the channel in every way, form, or fashion. I know me personally, I find it very hard to comment sometimes because it takes a long time, but you know, like button is quick and easy. So if you want to like the video, go ahead and do that. Anyways, that's it for me, guys. I gotta head to Walmart. I got all of these errands to run, and it is almost 12 o'clock, so I might eat a little something before I go. So I gotta go get my Sunday life together, as we always do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you so much more than you know. Thank you, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!